Assalamualaikum, my name is Juban. I'm currently in grade 11 and I will be attempting to do task 3, which is database, in this video. The paper I will be solving today is October-November 2023, the latest paper, and I will be doing paper 2, question paper 2, and the source file is over here. So let's start. This is page 5 and I will start by doing question 16. Examine the file 92302 games and identify the most appropriate field to set as primary key. Using database software, import the file. So firstly, we'll have to do this one. So first, I have to open this file and it's currently already in the software. So, but first I have to extract once I downloaded the file from the website. And now this is it after extraction. And these are all the files we are given for this question paper. Now it says to open games, so I'll just double click on that. And now this is it. Now I can just expand to see everything. Make sure everything is in order and looks right. Now I need to choose a primary key. And the primary key that I will choose is game code. Because primary key is something that has to be unique. And this is one which is unique and is different compared to the others. So what I'll choose is game code. Because for example, in publisher, we can't choose that because there are few reports or files with the same name and it's repeated. But these are not repeated and they're quite specific. So that's what I'll choose as the primary key. Now we go back here. Using database software, import the file. Okay, first we have to can close this file. Just leave it at that. Now we have to import the file into database software, and the database software that we'll be using is Microsoft Access. So I'll just create one, and I can close this table. So I can start off clean. Now it says to import that file that we just had a look at. So I'll go into external data, from home to external data. Click on new data source on the left, and scroll down to form from file. And at the bottom here is text file. Now I will browse because I need to look for it. Go into here, and these are the files that we have been given. This is a games file, which we just checked. Now I'll click on OK. And now for this part, you don't have to do anything. You can just click on next. And for the second part, you'll have to click this first row contains field names for any file that you want to upload. And now for this one, we have to click on advanced because we'll have to check these. So as you can see here, this table is similar to the table we were given, and we basically have to make sure that this table is the same like in this access. As you can see here, if game title is text, rank is number, then these also have to be the same. So we just have to make sure that it's equal. Now, for these, we have to make sure that global sales and price, this one is 3 decimal place and this one is 2. So now I'll go back here. And for that, if you have to use any decimal place, we can use double. It counts as any decimal place. So if the question asks you about having a decimal place, then we use double. So now with that, we identified everything and it's basically the same. We can click on OK because we're done with this. We click on next. We don't have anything to do here. And now here's where we choose the primary key. So we click on this. And then we can click here, scroll down and look for game code. Because that's what we chose when they asked us to check. And now we can click on next because we're done with that. And now we can name the table. You can name the table anything you want, but I will personally name it games table so it's easy for me to remember which one it is. Now we can just close this. And if you double click, you'll see that it's right here. Maybe I'll see if I can expand it. Yeah, okay. So this is it right here. This is the file we just checked and now we uploaded it. Now we have done that. Place in your evidence document a screenshot showing the field names. So for that one, I am not going to be doing the evidence document, but it's as easy as just taking a screenshot of this here. And yeah, the other thing we needed to do is we needed to change the display and the store. So I will be doing that right now. So for rank, they wanted the decimal place to be 0. So I'll go down here, click on 0. So you just have to click on which one. So rank, it's in yellow. And then decimal place 0 because they asked for a 0. Then we go to release year down here. They also want 0. So release year number, click on that. Decimal place, it says auto, but we have to change it to 0. Okay, now we're done with that. Now we have to go to global sales, 3 decimal places on both. So I can just put on 3. Global sale, click on that. Go down, decimal place, click on that, make it 3. Go back here. Now price, we have to do number slash currency. So for the store, to decimal place, like what I've been doing just now. So I click on price, go down here, click that, make it 2 decimal place. Wait, that's 3, 2. And now the other thing we have to do is we have to make it a currency. So we have to format to currency. So right above here is format. Click on mini arrow, and you can see it right here, currency. So let's click on that. Now we have done everything that the question has asked us to do. Always make sure to save the table. And we can go back into datasheet view. If you go here, you can see that the price, which was originally not like this, now it's 2 decimal places and all the currency, any symbol is shown. It can be any currency, it just has to be on all of the prices. And as you can see here, that it is on all of them. Now that we have done with that, is when you are supposed to screenshot. So now we'll move on to question 17. Import the file platforms as a new table. Use the field names and data types provided and set platform as primary key. Okay, so now we'll go back into Access and we have to upload a new file, a second file. So we'll do the same thing. If you want to upload any file, it's always the same procedure. From home, external data, new data source, from file, and then text file. Now we'll click on browse. Now it should open these. And now we have to choose platforms as the question asked us to do. Click on OK. Click on next. And we always have to click on this. So just make sure it's on the second tab. Now we don't have to click on advanced because there's nothing else we have to do. We just have to use the same data types. Click on next, and now we have to click on this, choose a primary key. And the question asks us to change it to platform. And that's what I did. As you can see here, the primary code is similar to the game code, as it's like a bit different, and not all of them is the same. And that's why we chose it. Now we click on next, and importing table, just name it anything. I will name it platform table. And now we're done. Now we have 2 tables imported into Microsoft Access. And that's how you do it. Now you can also do the same thing here. Go into design view, take a screenshot, make sure you start from here because they want to see this primary key logo and all the data types and field names to make sure it's the same. Now we'll create a one-to-many relationship between platform and the platforms table and platform in the games table. Question 18. So for this, we can save this and then we can go to data sheet. You click on right click to go to design view and back to data sheet view. For relationship, you can just scroll through and it's under database tools from home, database tools, and you find relationship. This is the one. So now you can either left click twice on the table over on the right side to get the table here, or you can just drag it. Either one is fine. So now what I just did is that I expanded it so it's easier for me to see all the fields that are in these. Now, based on the question, it says here, okay, platforms in the platform table and platform in the games table. Here, platform in the platform table, which is this, to platform in the games table. So I'll just have to left click, hold, and drag it and just place it on top basically. And now this is a here platform in the platform table, platform in the games table, and you can just create. And this line is just to show that the relationship is created. As you can see, it goes from platform to platform. And this is when you take the screenshot for the examiner to see that you have done that. And yes, each evidence is one mark, so make sure you do that. Okay, after that is done. Question 19. In the games table, locate the record with the game code AC105. And then we have to amend, so we have to change the details into these. So now we go back here, save the relationship, and you can close it. It's 405. Just make sure that AC105 is the right one. We change this to 405. Change the release year to 2020. And the genre has to be action, not simulation. So action. And that's all basically. Check your data for any errors. Please make sure that when you do it, you don't write the wrong number, you don't write something else, because it can cost you 1 mark. And that is question 19 done. And also make sure to save the data. Question 20, add the following as a new record in the games table. Okay, so now we have to create a new record. But first, always make sure to save. Now that we have done that, we can create a new record. Over here, so you can see here there's next record, last record, and the last one to the right is new blank record. And that's what we will be doing. And as you can see here, the new record is record 500, the last record 500 of 500. So now what I'll be doing is I'll just be copy pasting this because it's easier for me. And the last one is 12.80. Now that we're done, you can save this. Now we just created the new record according to this, and we have done that. Now question 21. Using fields from both tables, produce a tabular report that selects the records where game title includes its export and release year is 2011 or later. Okay, so before we actually make the report, we'll have to make a query first because we make a query to make a report. And basically, this is where we make the query. And how you know that we have to make the report is anything that is after in this order means that it has to be done in the report. So including the question here, and everything below it has to be done in the report, and these will be done in the query. Okay, now let's start. So we have to create a query first, and we can go to create here. We always use query wizard. Click on that. And with the query, we'll have to make a query with which has both tables. So both fields from both tables. All fields from all tables. So we click on these two arrows to bring everything to the query, everything to one side. And this arrow is just used for bringing singular fields because we need both because we need everything. Just click on this and everything will be dragged to the other side. And now we can click on next, next, and we can save this query. Let's see if we can save this to query 1. We cannot, so let's click on finish and this will be our query which we have created. It's the same thing, it's just that all the fields are in one table basically, one section. So with that, we are done with the query. But there are a few things that we have to do. We have to filter the data, and these are the two things we have to do. So the first one is game title includes the export. So let's go back here. Go into design, right click, design. Now we have to have the criteria. The criteria which the question asks us is that game title includes the export. So we're at game title, this is the criteria. We have to put star, star, right in the middle, sport. So write sport in the middle. And after that, it might change like this, but don't worry, it's still correct. Now we can save and run the code over here. As you can see here, it reduced from 500 to 90 because these are all the games that have sport in their name. And it can be at the back, like sports here. It can even be at the front. It can be in the middle. It doesn't matter. As long as the game title includes the export, it will work. As you can see here, sport and at the back here as well. So it just has to include the text sport, then it will show up here. And now that's done, we can do the second one, which is release year is 2011 later. So the game release year is 2011 or later. So for this, we'll go into release year and we will look for 2011. This is my personal method, so I found it here, 2011. I will click on this selection, basically to filter the data. And I will click on this greater than or equal to 2011. As the question says, 2011 or later, so more than 2011 is what the question is asking for. And once I did that, greater than 2011 is the same thing. And they also said 2011 or later, so it has to be equal, so make sure that's right. Now after that is done, we created the query and the query is complete. Now we can save it. And now we can create the report with this query. So click on create again. This is where the query wizard was, and now we'll go to report wizard to create the report. Okay, now we will use the game's query which we just made, but the question below it says that we'll have to use only the following fields. So let's see, here we have to put in rank game title release year. So this is where the single arrows will be used. So we'll just put the specific fields that are asked, and we need to put game title, rank. If you remember, you can just go back. Rank, game title, release year. Rank, game title, release year. Genre, global sales, and console name. And console name. Now make sure that this is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And this is also 6. Now we click on next. Now for this part, it says here, do not group the data. And where we can do that is in this. So after we're done moving the selected fields, we click on next. This is where we can either group the data or not group the data. And the question says not to group it. And this is how you group the data, by the way. If it comes and it's like this already, just click on the table below, and this is not grouped. This is grouped because, like, as you can see here, there's two boxes, and console is in one, and the rest are in the other. So now we click on games table. This is not grouped, it's all in one box. Now that we're done with that, we click on next. You can click on next as well because that's about grouping, we're not doing grouping. Now for this one, we have to go here, and it says here in this third bullet point, Sort data into ascending order of release year. So with that, we'll go here. Ascending order, it's already selected here, and go click on this release year. Ascending order of release year. That's how we do that. Now we click on next, and we'll have to go back here. It says here, has a page orientation of portrait. And as you can see here, orientation, portrait, it's already selected. And we don't have to change this because it's not specified. We can just leave it like that. And it has to fit on a single page. So now that we're done that, click on next. And let's see if I can change the name. Okay. As you can see here, it's quite organized, and this is the report I have here, but it's not done. We have to work on it. As you can see here, we have all the tables we imported, and then we have the query which we made, and then we have the report beneath it. Okay, so now that we're done with that, this is how it'll look like when you first make the report. We have to do some changes. As you can see, the release here field is not showing properly, it's a bit cut, and there's space between here, so we'll have to fix that, of course. So with that, we can go into layout view. From report view to layout view, just right click and you'll see the options. The first thing that we will do is rearrange these into the order. So we will start off by rank the game title and release year as the question suggested. So what I'll do first is that first you click on the top of the field, the first one, and with that you click on control, you hold control and then click the second one. And as you can see here, everything is selected. So you can close this and then you can move it depending on where it has to be. So if we go back, we have to make rank and game title the first two. So to make more space, I can just move it here, but I have to move this back because it's a second page. So first, I will move here so I can have more space to work with. Then I will make it smaller so everything can fit in. As you can see here, even this the game title, there's still a lot more space. A lot of the text, even right now, it's a bit cut out. Oops, still cut out the E, and yeah, that's done. You might lose a mark or two if the examiner cannot read everything and see everything clearly. So just keep that in mind. Okay, now we'll move rank here as the question suggested, and like that, just nice and neat on the side here, something like that. And now game title release here. Game title goes here. You can make it as close as you want. And release here is right here as well. So now I can just bring it closer here. And that's done. Those three are done. Genre, global sales, and console name. So genre can be right here. You can reduce it, you can have more space. Global sales and console name. So that goes here. And that is done basically. As you can see here, that page which appeared is gone, which means that everything is on a single page. We arranged it in order. And the most important part is that we can see all the data and none of it's cut out. Now that we're done, we can click on save the layout. Now we can go back here, and now that we have done that, now we have to include the text sports title released since 2011 as the title on top. Specifically mentions to display in larger font, so we can do that. What we do is right click, go into design view, and you can click on this, double click, you can move this and just pop that in there, and increase this a bit and highlight. It's set to make it bigger, so we have to do that. Click on home, you'll see the usual. Let's make it 28. And now we have to expand this as well. Make sure to expand it properly. Okay, something like that. And save. You can go back into report view, view it. Okay, looks good. It's a big title. and everything is in a single page, as you can see here, page 1 of 1. Now go back here, and the last one to finish this report is has your name, center number, and candidate number on the report. So for that, we'll have to go into design view again. Let's expand this report footer and page footer. So for label is what we will be using. Oh, sorry. Label is what we'll be using for the candidate number for writing all that. So let's click on this. It can be anywhere, but we'll just put it in the middle, and you can just drag it out. And now you can just write name. This is center number, and candidate number is just a random one. When that is done, save the report and check it out. Let's see. Okay, so it does show at the bottom here, but I think I did make it a little wide, so I'll have to go into design view, change that. Let's check now. Yeah, it's more better. Make sure it's not spaced out. And yeah, that is basically it for report 1. And after that, you can save and print your report to get the 6 marks. Okay, so now we will be doing the second report. As you have seen, we have done this report. Now we will be doing a bigger report, which is a bit more challenging, and it consists of more marks. As you can see, 6 to 13. So this is the first query, first report. Now let's get straight back into it. Create. Now we have to create a query again for the second report. Click on OK. And let's go here and see what the question is asking. Use fields from both tables. So for the query, I'll just use fields from both tables. Table, go back to table game. Game table, platform table, move everything to one side. So now everything is here. As you can see, click on next. Don't need to do anything here, click on next. And I want to try again if I can make this query number 2. I'm not sure why it doesn't work honestly, but just click on next. So this games table query which you just made is the new one for the second report. Now we'll do the same thing. We have to filter the data, and we have to get the records which we need and which the question is asking for. So the first one is genre is action or adventure. So what you can do here is we have to look for genre, which is right here, criteria, and I can just write here, simple as that, action or adventure. That's what the question asked. Yes, action or adventure. So you can just write that down. Click somewhere else, and you can see that the computer did it for you with the quotation and everything. So now that that is done, save and run. Now as you can see here, it's good to check, it's good to save and run all the time, because you can see here that the genre only includes action or adventure. And there are only 97 records that contain the genre that is action or adventure, while the others like roleplay and simulation are not there, because this is what we're trying to look for. And this is proof that it works, because only action and adventure are there, and there's no other different ones. Now that we're done with that, we can go back here, and we have to do the second one. Rank is 200 or less. So rank here, go back into design. We'll look for rank here. Okay, it's right here. So for this one, we have to do some math, and we just experiment with it. So for example, this, I'm not even sure what I'm doing, but we can just try this out. As you can see here, I accidentally made it more than 200. So for this, I can just switch the arrow around, save it, okay. And now this is the right one, where it is 200 or less. So everything less than 200 until 34, I think, is the smallest one, is available. And nothing above 200. 200 or less, so it can include 200 and everything below that is what they're asking for. Now, number three, we have to contain a new field. So we have to make a new field called discount price, which is calculated at runtime. So this field will display the new price after a 5% discount that has been applied. Use price. So they're telling you how to do it. Use price, the field price, multiplied by 95 divided by 100. So that's basically the percentage. And we have to format this field to display currency. Okay, now let's go back here. So for that, click on design view, same place. And now we can scroll all the way to the right side. Click on this, the field table, because we're creating a new field. Click on builder for this one. And now with this is how we can make the new field. So we have to make it called discount price, discount price, colon, that's for like equal to, and then we have to do square bracket price and then times. What I'm going to do is 0.95, which is basically 95 out of 100. And now that you're done, you can see here that this is what the question is asking, and this is what we have to do. Discount price, which is the title, and they said price multiply 95 over 100. Same thing either way. And now we can click on OK. You can see here that this is created here. And now that we're done that, we can do the second thing they asked us to do, which is change to currency. So this should be property sheet right here. Click on the field, look up here, top right, there's format, and click down, you should go to currency right here. So they didn't specify any currency, but the format has to be in currency, so we have to do that. Now we have completed this one, this part right here. Now we can move on to the third bullet point. So go back here. Okay, so we're done with this, currency is done. We made the new table, can save, run, and this is it right here. If you want, you can even try 19.95 times with the price discount, 95 over 100, and if you get the same value, that means you are correct. Now, save data, and now that we have finished the query, these were the query questions. As I said before, any question that includes in this order, and below it is all in the report. So because it starts from here all the way down, this is all the report. That automatically means that these three are the query. These three meaning this genre's action, the rank is 200, and you have to create the new field. Finally, after we're done with that, we can create the new report, the second report, in fact. So now what we'll do is we'll have to use these fields. Okay, so now we are done. So we go back here, save one more time. Create home, create, we have to create another report. So we go on report wizard. And now we'll use the query which we just made. Go here. Let's see. So we have to show the fields game title, rank, genre, console name, game title, rank, genre, and console name here. Let me go back. Release year, game publisher, price. Release year, game publisher, price, and it should be discount price because that's the one we made. And that's how we do it. We just basically move the selected fields using that single arrow. Next, we're back in this place. It says Do not group the data, so we have to do the same thing we did with the previous question and just leave it like this. Click on next, and now let's move down here. Sort the data into descending order of genre. So click on this to change it, ascending, descending. So now we're doing descending order of genre. Click on the arrow, it'll pop up down, and then you can choose the required field. Go back here, and ascending order of rank. Ascending order of rank. That's how we do it. Now we click on next. Go back here. Now that we have done this, we move on to the next bullet point, which is has a page orientation of landscape. Now we will go here. Since it's on portrait, just click on the landscape. The layout can be the same, and it has to fit a single page. So everything has to fit on a single page. Okay, so now we'll do that. Click on next. I'll try to change this to report. Sorry, report two. That works. Okay, so now we have report two, the new report. So this close, and let me just change this to query two first. Now we have query one, query two, report one, report two. Just looks a little more organized. Now we'll have to do the same thing. We have to rearrange. As you can see here, it's a bit messy. Some of them are not easily visible. And the question specifically says to show the fields in this order, so it has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In that sense. So now we'll just do that really quickly. Game title, rank, genre. So we go here, right click layout view to change. So now we can go here, make everything smaller so we can have more space. Should do that first, okay. And now for this, I'll move it here. For this one, for discount price, I'll just make it a bit bigger so I can see everything. I'll move game publisher to the side, release here, open it a bit, spread it out. Okay. Now back to this. Game field, game title, rank, and genre. So they're all already here. Game title, rank, and genre. Wait, 1 second. Okay. Rank. So same thing I'm doing with the previous one. Left click on the top row, and then hold control, click on the second one, and then you can move the whole field anywhere you want. So going back question, game title, rank, genre. Game title is here, rank is here, genre is here. But first, we have to increase. Now as we scroll down, there's still some words which are not being able to be seen. Still that little s there. So I can just move ahead these a bit more, and now it should be done. Okay, so now everything is visible, fully visible in fact. Now we go console name, release here. Console name, release here, it's already here. Okay, that's good. So now we can arrange this. I want to make this as close as possible so we can fit everything inside. And now we can close this a bit. Just make sure it's good to scroll down to make sure that everything is still readable. Yep. Okay. After we're done with release here, game publisher, price, and discount price. Game publisher is here, price is here, and discount price. Okay, so now we are done with the layout, and we have made it in the order. It looks neat and everything is displayed. All the fields are easily visible. As you can see here, the discount price, it's in currency because we had to do that. So just make sure that it's done as well. Now, now that we have done that, we have basically completed all this from question 22. Now we have to include the title Top Entertainment Games. And now we'll go back here, right click, go onto design view, double click on this, remove this. Hide this by just copy pasting it. Just make a little more space here and highlight this, go back into home, increase the size. I think I'll do the same one and expand this box here so easy visible and everything fits. Now we'll go back to check it, go to report view. This is how the report will look like. It looks pretty clean so far. Yep. Okay. Now we will go to the next one, the bullet point below. And this is calculates the earliest release year and places this below the release underscore year column at the end of the report. Okay, so let's see. We have to create a formula. So we'll go into design view. And for this, I will have to expand this a bit. And this too. Okay. So now that I have a little more space to work with, I will tell you about the formula. So for the candidate number, we had to use label. And for the formula, we'll have to use text box. Click on that. Drag it under release here because that's what they asked for. And now this is where you write the formula. So let's try. So they want us to calculate the earliest game. So we have to use minimum. And similar to spreadsheet, there are formulas which are quite similar, like min, max, count, sum, for example. For this one, we'll be using minimum because we have to calculate the earliest game. So it has to obviously be the smallest number. So what I'll do here is I'll write equals to min. Then with this, I'll have to create the round bracket, then create a square bracket, and just write release here, release underscore year. Now I'll just expand it a bit. So now we can. Looks better. Okay, done. Go into back into design view. Just go back and check it, something make sure it's okay, and make sure that. And here, yep, here for the evidence document, you have to show the database formula used to create the earliest release here. So basically, you'll have to take a screenshot of this, just this box, to prove what you did is right. Because technically, you can just write it there if you look through. So that's why they want to check. Examiners need to know that you actually did it. Now that we have done that, completed this, we have to have the label earliest game released year fully visible on the left. Okay, so we basically write this down, go back here. This is the label. It came with the database formula. Now that we wrote it here, we can click on this gray arrow to move it this side so it has more space. Do make sure that it is actually under the release here, so they're both next to each other, and the title for the formula is on the left side because they specified it. As you can see here, earliest game release, completed this. Now we have to the last step, last task to do for question 22, and it is the same one we did previously. So we have to have name, candidate number, and center number, candidate number in the footer. And okay, so this is what we'll do here. Basically, If you're writing any database formulas, it has to go in the report footer. But if you're writing the footer for candidate name number, center number, for example, then it'll all go here. So now you can just click on this report design. We can go back. Label, something we've used before in the previous report. Now we will just write a name, center number, and candidate number. So that's done. And you can go back into report view. As you can see here, it's showing here. So we're basically done. As you can see, if it's in a single page, the footer, you can see here that lowest value, the title beside it, and after you're done, make sure that the formula is screenshotted, and then you can claim the 13 marks. In fact, the entire database is only 27. And with that, you have completed the database task. Thank you for watching.